Hello everyone, hello! Cesare here with some more Final Fantasy XIV. Now we're just going to give ourselves a quick recap of yesterday, hopefully not as long as the previous one. Yeah, so essentially, the Eorzean Alliance wanted to get together to talk about how an Scion has been walking around wearing Xenos' skin. Oops, hang on. And they asked Doma to join them, but Doma was like, hey, we need to shore up our defenses here first. So we went to the Azim Steppe, where we found a ancient artifact that would help them charge up an energy barrier that we found in the burn. The burn is a location where Alphino's Empire escort got shot down and attacked by other members of the Garlean Empire. And we had to go there to kind of find him, and it's an arid wasteland of just terribleness. It's a giant desert. We fought the Mist Dragon from FF4. It's not great. So while we were there, we discovered there's some Allegan ruins there, and that Y'shtola noted that that was probably the land where Az's Law came from before it was raised into the sky. And the artifact we found on the Azim Steppe was used to raise it into the sky. So we had to get permission to use this artifact because the Zayla believed it to be sacred. So we went there, and they wanted to fight us, of course. Y'shtola savagely defeated them, both mind and body, at least of the Orinir. Afterwards, we went to the Eorzean Alliance, and the Scions were all rocked by a strange voice and just pain all around. Thancred fell unconscious, and then when we went back to the Rising Stones to confront, to speak with Urianger, both Urianger and Y'shtola were also knocked unconscious after another wave of this pain. Told us to throw wide the gates. And that's where we left off. It wasn't a very good summary, I apologize, but that's about what happened. Now, here's Minion Roulette. We get our wind-up red mage today. Okay, so we're gonna teleport back to Mordona. Okay, hang on. Let's do that. I find it more convenient now, teleporting by expansion than otherwise. So, we have to figure out exactly who wants us to throw wide and which gates. Before that, let's talk to Alisaie. Maybe she can tell us what's going on with Urianger and Y'shtola. And Thancred. Soul searching.
I'm glad you've come, though I'm afraid there's little in the way of good news. After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments. But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjury. Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Urianger and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle. And Alphino's still missing. God, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Krile! I did not think you well enough to travel.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away. As a fellow Scion, not to mention your erstwhile mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Yes, I should have thought of that. Thank you for coming, Krile. We would welcome your insight.
and I should be happy to provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphino heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the Studium?
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he remains altruistic to a fault. But I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
You needn't be so concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphino is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened, thanks to a certain someone. A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh? Right, I'd better have a look at our patients. They're in the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone. If you'll excuse me. All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep. Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
I've read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes? If we assume the ether which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that, but I can't imagine it was easy.
Oh, it wasn't. But that's no reason not to try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
Yay, Master Matoya. Okay, so let's head over there. Carthus. Pathus. We're going to Idleshire. Off we go then. So now we gotta torment Alphino about his speech, because that's the right thing to do, right? Hop on Chocobo back. And fly our way over there. Again, I still really love the music in this zone. I don't know why, it's just something about it. By the way, in case you're wondering, that building with the tree growing out of it, that is a dungeon. Jeremy was asking me about it yesterday. It's an optional dungeon. You unlock it after completing the MSQ in Heaven's Ward, so St. Mosian's Arboretum is a pretty good dungeon too, so yeah. since we're just primarily focusing on MSQ stuff, we're not going to be going out of our way to be doing too much optional stuff, but there are some optional stuff that we have done and we'll be doing again in the future, maybe. Might decide not to do them, but we'll see. Please do keep Alphino's little speech to yourself. He can be awfully sensitive at times. I'd heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse, but this seems extreme. Still, I'll happily overlook her eccentricities if she agrees to help us. That's nice of you to overlook someone's eccentricities if they agree to help you.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems. Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister. Weren't you supposed to be the lively one? I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders. Now, what exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
If I may, Master Matoya, we have need of your crystal eye once more.
And Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she? Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
Right, let us see what we can see. I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
What is it? Did you find them?
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
How is what possible? Krile, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Could the ether have dissipated if it had? Oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the broodmother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
But where?
That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking. Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lise. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphino left with, is one of them. I'm sorry. I realize we've barely begun here, but...
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
I'll do some digging in the meantime and see if there isn't some other method we could use to continue the search.
Let's be off then.
Oh, not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days. I chalk it up to old age, but I rather doubt it's that simple.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Urianger were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Does it now? And here I was all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone awry. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting in shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that but one thing at a time.
What happened in Alamigo? We got some of the people who fled with Alphino, or not fled, but were taking Alphino to Alamigo, or to the Empire, are now defecting to we're taking Alphino to the Empire, where are now defecting to Alamigo. There we go. I got there in the end. I'm sorry I couldn't do more. I've never seen a soul's thread end so abruptly before. So that was the woman who tamed Y'shtola. I had the distinct feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alphino is back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what tales she has of grandfather. A defector's tidings. I almost cannot bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us, but it can't be bad news, or can it? Lise would have said, unless... there's no point in speculating. Lise said she'd notify the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace gate at in the Alamigan Quarter. I'll be praying for good news. Learn what you can about Alphino's plight, and leave the search for our friends' lost souls to me. Yeah. Anyway, Vector, welcome. How you doing today? We're heading back to Alamigo. Dead Rising. Alright. I'm fairly certain I can get access to that, so we will add that to the list. Greetings, Scions. The commander told me to expect you. Shall I show you in? Alright. What are they gonna tell us?
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphino?
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Scions. This shadow hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Scion threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Scion hunters. Who are they? And is Alphino still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Scions, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them. They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alisaie head to Doma and let Lord Hien know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphino too.
Consider it done. We'll send word when...
Untold sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
You heard it too. Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
Well, that's concerning. So Alphino is safe, for the present at least. Now all we need to worry about is a full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Leaf tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better be dashing from place to place and sitting around stewing over things we can't change. To the Enclave! Alright, so what's it go? To the Enclave! That's a bun boy. That's a Hume. Or a here. Alright. Okay, we got lots of people here now. Dalmascan Fusilier? A very Dalmascan looking. A very FF12. The fall of Rabanastre was not the end of our nation. We who survived retreated underground and have been gathering strength to mount a counter-offensive. Dalmasca will rise again. Nansha. I am come to represent the lands of Nansha. Long have we struggled in defiance of the Empire, waiting for such an opportunity as this alliance presents. After their humbling at your hands, Magna and his Oriner have spent every waking moment upon the training fields. Defeat does not sit well with the son and his children. The Imperials have enjoyed the freedom of the Ruby Sea for too long. Tis time they paid their dues. Hey, Exogesis. We of the Blue Kojin will not submit to the Emperor's tyranny. If only our red brethren would waken to their folly. Alone, Doma could accomplish little against the Empire, but in concert with the allies who have gathered here today, we might do much. Miro, you arrived in time to witness the beginnings of our new alliance. Our proposal struck a chord with many of our neighbors, I'm pleased to say. Welcome, welcome. Greetings, my friends. I was just discussing the future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and the Confederacy you already know, and it was your own strength of arms that won us the cooperation of the steppe tribes. We have also been joined by our neighbors from Naxia and the indomitable citizens of Dalmasca, though the scattered nation of the latter's resistance will somewhat delay their official induction. These proud peoples have united under a single purpose, to stand against the tyranny of the Garlean Empire. I'm glad to see your alliance is coming together so swiftly. As things stand, I fear we shall soon have need of your strength. I thank you for bringing me news of Alphino. His fate is never far from my thoughts, and only because he is our emissary. Not only because he is our emissary. As for this sudden deployment of our Imperial forces, I agree that El Amigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we receive from our shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain that the Empire is poised to bring its fist down upon Eorzea. And I would help to deflect the blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We will remain vulnerable to airborne assault until our wall in the burn is in place. The all-important Allegan energy barrier. The energy barrier, yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious. A name-dropped form of the Four Lords of Legend, perhaps Sayu's Aegis or some such. Well, just a thought. The Ironworks engineers report that they have finished calibrating the generators and are ready to proceed to the testing stage. Have you time to attend to the first test? You've seen the field which protects Aziz's law firsthand, and I would be interested to hear how you think ours compares. I'll come too if you don't mind, though I'm no Ishtola, I may be able to offer some insight. Of course, time being of the essence, it would be best if we made it directly for the burn. Yugiri, I leave you and Hikaru to bring the War Council to a close. Understood. Your mounts are saddled and ready, my lord. Wear the storms. Alright, we got food. Tenacity, piety, spell speed. Let's do that one. I keep forgetting to actually use the food, but we'll try to remember when we get to our next dungeon. Before we kick off the next thing here, though, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. Exegesis, I'll be right back, but I hope you're doing excellent.